Good evening and welcome to you all. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are around the world. Welcome back to SFR. This is Division 2 for round 14 at Miami Grand Prix. There is only 4 races left to go, including this one then, so no mistakes can be afforded to make on either end of the championship here. And yeah, this is Miami then, one of the 3 US tracks around here, and it was first introduced in 2022. And it is 5.1 kilometers and got 19 turns as well to go with it. So we've got an 18-minute qualified session here as well, and it should be a 29 lap race. And alongside me tonight is Energy Dan. How are you, mate? You all right?
I'm very all right, mate. Thank you so much for having me. And of course, it is Miami. I'm really looking forward to it. It's a great track, and Miami being the only place in the world where you can have fat, old, aging men with open Hawaiian shirts and chest hair and a gold chain, and it's acceptable. So yeah, it's a great track as well. It's very technical. I think people are going to struggle with the rear tyres, or rear traction at least, should I say. And I think you're going to see quite a lot of people tonight differing in their setups with straight line speed and cornering speed. It does favour a high speed setup, so we're going to see exactly what these guys can do around here.
Indeed it is as well, the first sector and the middle part of the lap as well, where it can be quite twisty as well. You can be very careful, especially towards the last sector, because it can make or break your lap time as well. Heading towards this turn 30 and 60 kilometers on board with usage back, it is really easy to make a mistake through there as well. And it's very important you get a good run on this back straight, because if you don't, if you're attacking or defending, you might be vulnerable, or plus can't get the attack on as well. So we're going to go on board with Yusuf and Shebek. And before I do that, Dan, Martin says, have you got enough fuel this time?
Yeah, no, I underfueled last night big time. I mean, it's alright Martin saying that in the comments, but he didn't even race because he's a bummy ass and couldn't be asked. Because apparently it's a TC track and he couldn't be competing, so yeah, cheers that line.
Here comes Yusuf then on board with the Racing Bull drivers. A 5.4 kilometer circuit as we go down towards turn 1, breaking the 100 meter board as we go down towards turn 1 and turn 2 and turn 3. We want to take a very nice smooth line indeed. It doesn't really maximise all the curbs there, maybe don't have the confidence. It is his first lap time, so he should go for exploring the track limits around here. As we now go towards turn 4, we go at turn 5. He's going a bit wide and not really hooking up the lines or the apexes. It is quite difficult on that particular part of the track. It's so fast, constantly changing direction. But through turn 9, this seems to be a decent little corner, because you want to take a late apex through turn 9 and get a slingshot exit and leads you onto the DRS straight immediately. There is a Haas behind us, and that could be Klausler. Klausler did pick up a podium here last season as well in the Haas, but this season he hasn't really been anywhere near the podium due to the lack of pace. And here comes Yusuf Shebek then down in towards turn, another heavy braking point, and it's also another place where you can overtake as well, but maybe not if you don't get it done in towards turn 9, turn 17. As now we're coming through this twisty final sector.
Klaus is on a lap, mate. Klaus is on a lap. He's trying to use him to pull him along, mate. He's deploying everything. He's on a lap.
He is indeed there, so let's see if the beneficial of the toe gets Klausler up towards provisional pole. But Yusuf Shebek has been struggling then. There's the DRS open for both of them. As you can see that Klausler is using the DRS of the back of Yusuf as we head down towards the heavy braking zone. Important to scrub off all the speed, make the corner, lose the rear end there, fighting with traction, massive wheel spin. As Yusuf there, a very scuffy first lap indeed, as he makes his way towards the beam. It's going to be a 26.4, but Klausler, interesting, does not go quicker despite having his toe.
Yeah, I think Klausler is it's wrong to say this, he's the slower driver. He's probably a midfield driver, but that was a pretty solid lap from Klausler on the first one, 26.5. Call it 26.6, so yeah, very good. And Zedem goes quickest with a 26.232.
And here comes Yusuf then towards the line. He goes up into P5 in the RB. And there he is then, just behind Klausler by a few hundredths of a second as we wait for more people. And Mills goes up to P6, but as you can see, not really representative. Now, I've seen him. He did a one last season. Completed the move, but unfortunately on turn 2, he spun off. I'm not quite sure if you remember that or not, but it was a fantastic triple overtake.
Yeah, I'm just watching Neymar now. He's about to come through the Sector 1, and he's up by a second in Sector 1, mate. So Neymar is really quick in Sector 1. Let's hope he can do that in Sector 2 and Sector 3, but yeah, he's definitely up on the times. It was a 31.3 for the other drivers. He did a 30.5, I think it was.
Let's continue on board with the Mercedes driver as he makes his way now towards this right-hander. We go this long sweeping right-hander, take a tight line through here as well. I want to be very careful how you take these curves as well, because it's so easy to validate a bit of slip up there on the edge towards 15 as we head through 16 we go. So today Z17 has a good setup. It's one to watch today. So let's see if Z17 can finally break the curse after being known as spinning out in every single race, because Z17 has got a good qualifying pace, but in terms of consistency is where he's lacking, and hopefully that will all change into this race. Hopefully, I fingers crossed.
I think you just cursed him there, mate. But yeah, I just want to correct myself. Neymar wasn't quicker in sector 1. I looked at the wrong sector time. But yeah, you just blatantly commented a curse Z17 there, mate. So fair play, pal.
Well, let's see if the commentator's curse is real or not, or maybe he spins by himself, but we'll see then, as we've got more people on their flying lap. And that's Copo in the Mercedes then, on his flying lap. The man who's currently sat in P7 Championship hasn't even scored a podium this season. He was one of those drivers that was looking very contendy last season as well to score some wins and podiums, but this season been a bit of a steady decline for him, as here comes Copo towards the line. He goes up into P9 ahead of Mills, as we see Ruda go up to P5 in the Kick Sauber.
Just check something, Jamie. I've got a few drivers that are still waiting in the pits. You've got Adam's not done a lap yet, Presently and Yaham. I don't remember seeing anything about Q-bands. Are they just waiting for the track to evolve, or what?
Possibly save a set of soccer power tyres just in case there is a safety car. But President Elite tyres retired in the pit lane then, so that's his qualifying done and dusted, as we go on board with one of the Red Bull drivers, which is Lord Danny Boy. Now, he got dropped from Division 1 into Division 2, and his first race back at the Austrian Grand Prix was fantastic indeed, finishing in P3 behind Burmeister and Yara. But ever since then, he hasn't really been looking strong so far, has the Red Bull driver, Lord Danny Boy. So he's been struggling a bit so far, and just can't seem to find the race pace to try and get the guys ahead as well. But here he is on a flying lap. His teammate MDJ is currently out there somewhere on his out lap as we head down towards turn 9 there, and now coming through turn 10, this long slow hander indeed. Be very patient with the throttle, that's all it is, because you don't want to lose the traction through there either. As we come through now this Mickey Part section as well, coming through turn 16, open up this left hander, get back on the power as soon as the car is straightened up, and it's a 1.8 in the middle sector for Lord Danny Boy now, as here we go with the DRS open halfway down the straight, and this is where we see most overtaking happen. Remember, we saw that Adams and Klausler last season made contact in towards turn 17. It actually cost Adam the race because he won the Grand Prix, but unfortunately he had a 10-second time penalty later on in the Grand Prix, and he had to give up the lead towards Klausler on that day. As here comes Danny Boy now towards the line, it's going to be only P10.
Well, here's one for you, mate. Adams is now finally out on an out lap. He's about to come to the last turn, and from practice, Adams has been looking pretty racing around here. So it might be an idea just seeing what Adams can do. I think he's at least top 4 round here.
I agree, because last season, Adams, as good evening, Paul Vickers, how you doing, mate? Adams last season did the hard to medium strategy, and it worked really well. He qualified outside the top 10, but he had mighty pace on those Nikon power tyres to overtake Mansell, to overtake Klausler during the Grand Prix as well. But unfortunately, Adams got a bit too impatient, and he got himself a penalty towards there, because it took him a long time to win the Grand Prix, and his first win was at the Dutch GP after 3-4 failed attempts. As here comes MDJ now out of the final few corners we go on this racetrack, just used the bit of battery he has left in his disposal. He goes up into P12, quite a big gap from P12 down to P1. Adams can't qualify, but mighty race pace. Yeah, I agree. Adams just can't seem to get qualifying hooked up. Like Harry Kane, like a few other people like Burmeister too, they just can't seem to hook up qualifying, but they've got good race pace, which is very, very good indeed, because you need that as well.
You do indeed. Yeah, he's looking pretty strong in Sector 1. He's about to cross Sector 2 now. He's doing 29.5 in Sector 1, which is basically matching what Velocia IRB has done, almost identically in fact. So yeah, he's looking pretty good for matching the top drivers so far. Oh, he's backed off. Oh, he invalidated. Oh. So coming through the twisty section at the end of Sector 2, he's actually invalidated his lap time. He's going to have to go again if he's got the fuel. I think he has got the fuel, because he's harvesting. He's back up to about 100% battery now, so that means he's going to go again.
Yeah, he's just braking accelerate, trying to regenerate the battery as well, so that's why you can see him slowing down on the straight. So unfortunately, he invalidated on lap time somewhere in the last sector, but Yusuf Shabek is currently a 10th up in the first sector. Burmeister is down slightly in the middle sector, but looking very good so far for Yusuf. Let's see then, can he continue his form? Velocio Jr. is currently P1. Last week's race winner, doing a fantastic job so far, is Velocio Jr. He's not really in the Championship 5, but he's still looking to try and gain as many points as he can then. He's finally got things are starting to go his way just a bit. As here comes Yusuf Shebeck, his old teammates in the racing ball, coming towards turn 17 now as we get back on the throttle once again. Let's see if Yusuf can go better than P4, and the answer is yes, he can, as he pops himself into P3, but the gap is separated by only a few hundredths of a second now. The main man to watch out for is Zenom. He was very good in qualifying last year, he's very good in the race trim until he made a mistake, but Zenom, it's already a 10th up the first sector, so he's flying there. Through the first sector we go, as we have the DRS open on this short straight heading down in towards turn 9, but can he make it stick? Can he slow the car down enough as well? Let's have to find out right now. It breaks on the 100-meter board, slows the car down into third gear, clips the apex very nicely indeed, as he used a bit of runoff area too to try and maximise every single part of the racetrack into fourth gear, keep it nice and smooth. It's all about smoothness through here as well, getting a good rhythm, good line, and he has done so far as well, going out of turn 17. Here we are towards the end of the sector, and he's 2 and a bit tenths up instead of them, so this lap time could be on course to pole. There's his main rival just in front of us. Vlacho Jr. is also the fly lap as well in the Aston Martin then, so let's see which one of these two can take pole away from each other, as we've got Vlacho Jr. next across the line then, out of turn 17. Let's see, can he improve on his own lap time? We're about to find out right now. He can, but here comes Eden. What can the Ferrari driver do as he makes his way towards the line? It's only a few hundreds there between the top two.
Wow, that is super close. That's impressive. Yeah, I think Adams was a bit disadvantaged there. I think he lost traction with his worn tyres on that second fast lap. Yep.
First to second, separated by thousands. Can you believe it? Look at that.
Oh, mate, unbelievable. Unbelievable, mate. And only 27 thousandths between second and third as well. Or 37 thousandths. So yeah, unbelievable, mate. Really close to the top 3. But I think Adams was disadvantaged then on his second hot lap. The worn tyres, they do wear quite heavily around here, so I think that second hot lap really disadvantaged him. So he's going to go in the pits, get another set on, and I'm pretty sure you're going to see Adams at least up somewhere around Yusuf Shebeck area.
And look at that then, from first down to third, separated by under 300ths of a second. Then first to second, literally separated by 1,000ths of a second then. So it is super tight margins between all these guys here as well. Neymar doing a great job once again, trying to go through his second pole of the season is Neymar. Let's see, can he do it? It's only 1,000ths away from getting that pole position. But Vlacho Jr. then in first place, looking very strong. The man who is in third place in the championship, only a few points behind Yusuf Shebeck. So he's fighting with his old teammates in the championship. And let's see how that goes down, because I think Burmeister's got this well clear, but second, third and fourth could be interesting for the battle as well, because Vlacho Jr. has been on a good run of form recently as well, has the Aston Martin drivers. Let's see if he can keep it up as he heads back in the pit lane then. So it's quite quiet out there, not really many people circulating or setting blistering lap times out there quite before the storm.
Well, Burmeister's just starting his hot lap now. He's done a 26.3. I reckon Burmeister can actually get into the 25s. He's got the ability. The track's evolved. He's had a bit of running now, so let's just see what Burmeister can do. We'll see what he does at the end of sector 1. He's just coming to it now. A few more seconds, and we'll see if he's up or down on the current leader. Yes, he's up. He's up quite a bit actually.
As we ride on board then with the Williams driver as he heads down, the clouds will start to gather in, so maybe rain could be on the horizon, maybe not in this qualifying session, but possibly in the race, depends. Let's see then if the rain does impact the circuit in the Grand Prix. But Burmeister a bit twitchy through there, lost the rear end slightly at the exit of turn number 9 and 10, as we make our way now towards this tight middle sector we go, full of corners, slow speed corners, very important to get right as well, very easy to mess up as well, especially hit the wall or validated, as Burmeister is only 0.001 thousandths to a second there quicker than his previous best then, so not going to be improvement for Burmeister in terms of places unless he can find a mighty final sector. But here he is then as we head down towards the heavy braking zone, down to the gears into third, slight lock up on the entry, goes a bit wide, and that might cost him a bit more time as well, so Burmeister has backed off.
He's bailed it. He lost time in that second sector where the chicane is. It wasn't that smooth through there. I was watching him. So yeah, maybe he's got time to do it again, so he can put another set of softs on, come back out. But yeah, his sector 1 time actually wasn't as good as I thought. When I checked the times, he was 2/10 off the leader just in sector 1 alone. So unfortunately for Burmeister there, he needs to gather his thoughts, put a fresh set of boots on, and come out and set some good lap times. But yeah, I mean, 26.3, it's still a great lap time.
Indeed it is then, so let's see then. the rest of the competition will respond, but there is a flash of rain there on the screen, so maybe the wet conditions, and you can see it's getting slippery and slippery now, as that's Copo struggles for traction. He's on a flying lap. Here comes Copo towards the line. What's it going to be for him? P10 for him with a 26.9, and he just puts himself inside the top 10. But we've got people coming out there as well. Lord Danny Boy is a few hundreds down in the middle sector there, in the Red Bull, as the track conditions will get worse and worse. Here comes Danny Boy towards the line. He goes ahead. Up into P11 he goes ahead at 8 mils. A disappointing qualifying so far from MDJ P13. He's currently down near P13, as Yoram is still yet to set lap time as well. President Elite, unfortunately, I think he had a qualifying ban, hence why he retired so early on in this session then. But I don't think, Stan, nobody's going to improve on their lap times here.
No, I don't think it will either, mate. But yeah, President Elite has actually got one for last week's infringements, and then another one to serve next week for the accumulation of penalty points.
As Yusuf taps the wall there, unfortunately for President Lee, because I talk about him every single race where he has good pace, but it just seems to be struggling just a bit in terms of the race pace, whether something's going on with terms of strategy, making contact with people. Still yet to pick up his first win and first podium of the season, but yeah, President Elite just needs to find something, just something. He keeps been unlucky in the past few races, does the Aston Martin drive, but I say it every single week as well, we just know it, but he just needs to try and find something. But maybe start to P15 might be a bit difficult, as both RBs then swap places to the straight, but obviously the track is getting worse and worse, so I don't think nobody would be improving.
I don't think they will. But yeah, it's interesting what you said about consistency as well, Jamie. There's quite a few drivers in the league in various divisions that are just super consistent, and then there's some drivers that are up and down. I'm one of those up and down drivers. You know, I sometimes I'm amazing, sometimes I'm really poor, and it's so nice to see when you get different drivers that have different abilities or different consistencies. And in Division 3 alone, we've seen the lead delta go up and down for the last 6 races, and it's all because people have had good races and bad races. And I think Division 2 is similar. You know, you get the odd people that are very consistent, you get the other half a dozen that are, you know, very unpredictable, and that's what I think I love about this Division 2. You never know who's actually going to be on ball. It's really exciting to see.
It is indeed then. So Velocio Jr. is on pole for the 5th time this season. Neymar joins him along the front row as well with a 25.9. Only 1,000 separating first and a second. And also third, further backwards is Zenom, starting in a really good spot, is the Ferrari driver. And I really hope for his sake that this race just goes well for him. I really do so, because I know, like, from last season, the season before, and this season, he has been spinning and making a lot of mistakes. And I don't know how he has the motivation and the dedication to keep going, because if I was in his shoes and I kept making mistakes every single race, I'd just be demotivated. I just couldn't be bothered anymore. But Zeno just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going, no matter what. That's what we're going to respect about Zeno. Despite him making a lot of mistakes, the man just never gives up, and that's what we give credit due as well, where it's due.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. And to be honest with you, it's that mentality that gets you up towards the leading end of the championship. Even if people ahead of you are consistent, it's you just getting good points every week, because it only takes 1 or 2 races of a mediocre result from the championship leaders, and you're back in the fight. So it really pays to keep on it. And it's one of the bugbears of mine when people retire from a race when they're in last place, because obviously for the last 2 seasons we've offered points from first to last. And there's been quite a few divisions where a championship's been won or lost by less than 5 points, and the amount of times people have DNF'd or retired, it really pays to stay in a race. So yeah, hopefully it's drive for the race and we won't get any incidents and we see all 15 drivers finish, but we'll soon see, Jamie. Not long now, qualifying over. We'll soon be lining up for 29 laps of this Miami Grand Prix. Is it 29? I think it's 29.
I think it is, yep. So 29 laps ahead of us during the Grand Prix. Qualifying has ended, and that's Velocio Jr. is on pole, ahead of Neymar then, and Zenom in P3, with Yusuf in 4th place. So the Burmeister Ruder, a great qualifying from him again. Cluster P7 ahead of Yusuf, Adams 9th ahead of Atlas Copo, Danny Boy, Emils, MDJ Yoram, and President Lee. Those 2 drivers did not set a lap time during qualifying due to one of them having a qualifying ban, and the other unknown. But I'm quite intrigued to see how this race goes. Let's see if weather plays into a factor during the course of this Grand Prix. I think penalties might play a factor as well, because whoever gets the least amount of penalties could find themselves up the order, like Velocio Jr. did last week as well in Canada, when he capitalised with people having penalties around him as well. So can we keep it nicely tight on the track? nice and tidy on the track as well. Make sure you don't go out wide. Easy centered under the course. As President Trump to get at least last to first, says Martin.
Yeah, you're saying about penalties as well, Jamie. It's not that known to get penalties around here. Obviously, there's the very. Oh my God! It's fucking. Sorry, no swear then. It's monsooning. Wow, this is going to be amazing. Okay, great. What I was saying was, there's only really a couple of places on this track where you can get penalties. One of the biggest areas is the tight chicane as you come to the end of Sector 2 before that long straight. If you get it wrong there, you can get warnings and you can get penalties. Another place is actually into the S section of turns 1, 2 and 3. You can overcook it and get on the curb and go stabilise and then end up kicking yourself back over, so that's another place to watch out for. Everywhere else, it's alright. It's nowhere else you can really get warnings round here, but when you're going wheel to wheel, wing to wing, you can get forced into warnings, so that is one thing to watch. And the other thing, the pit lane entry is horrendous around here. Horrendous. I always forget about Miami. I always say like Spa's the worst, places like that. But yeah, I think Miami's got to top the table. It is the most horrendous entry ever.
I've not really had many pit lane. I don't really remember what the pit lane actually looks like because I've not driven on this track for quite a long time, so I'm not quite sure about the pit lane entry. Yeah, I do actually know. Yeah, it is quite a dodgy pit lane entry. So yeah, fair play to that
so when
one.
you come out that last hairpin, you have to stick to the right, and it snakes in left, and then it snakes in sharply right.
Yeah,
and then as you sharply turn right, your braking zone's right there. So unless you're perfectly straight when you put the brakes on, you either go shooting left and over the line, or obviously you have to do more steering and lock your fronts up, and you can obviously go faster. So it's just very tricky. You know, probably not the worst, but I'm probably exaggerating there. But it is a very tricky entry.
Martin says, bring back Malaysia. Oh, what a track that was. They're still racing it at MotoGP, of course, but F1, unfortunately, has gone. Verstappen was the last person to win there in Malaysia 2017. I think him and Ricciardo did a fantastic job overtaking Hamilton. As Sebastian Vettel, I think, started at the back of the field and made his way up to 4th place, or was it Kimi Räikkönen? Because I know both Ferraris had technical gremlins on the same weekend.
Did Vettel start 14th and work up to 5th?
I think it was like outside the top 10 and made his way up to 4th. I think they swapped cars between Räikkönen and Vettel, so I think they swapped the cars around. And also, after the Grand Prix, we saw that contact between Stroll and Sebastian Vettel, one of the most bizarre crashes you'll see as well. And I also remember that Sergio Perez took his first podium in his F1 career in 2nd place, hunted down Fernando Alonso, and what a drive that was from Sergio Perez. The 2nd year in Sauber did a fantastic job trying to keep Alonso at bay, keep him on his toes at all times, but Alonso, with the experience, just had the edge as well to keep ahead of Sergio Perez. But unfortunately, Perez, he's no longer around in F1 anymore, is he? He's gone out, completely gone. But talks about him coming back in the Cadillac. Who would you like to see in the Cadillac, by the way, Dan?
Sorry, mate, I was reading a comment on the YouTube there. What did you say, sorry, mate?
I was talking about the Cadillac. Would you like to see Perez back in the Cadillac? Like, who do you think is more suited towards that those seats?
I don't know, mate, because Cadillacs they're a new F1 constructor out there, so it'd be hard to see exactly who'd suit that. I don't know. I genuinely don't know, mate. I don't really have an opinion because I don't have the knowledge on it, mate, unfortunately.
Fair enough, yeah. Fair enough then. But yes, I definitely do miss the Malaysian Grand Prix. What a fantastic race. It always shows he can fight in the first sector as well. We saw both Red Bulls do that in 2016 when they went toe-to-toe between each other. Then I think Lewis Hamilton broke down because Daniel Ricciardo won at the Malaysian Grand Prix 2016 after being denied in Monaco, and he was still searching for his first win of the season and managed to get it because Verstappen joined Red Bull in Spain on round 5, and he went on to win immediately as Ricciardo suffered a puncture trying to fight with Sebastian Vettel then, as Ricciardo did a fantastic job to defend against Verstappen, and Rosberg got up to P3 because Sebastian Vettel took out Nico Rosberg in towards turn number 1 and caused the German spin around, and Nico Rosberg had to make a recovery drive since then. Then Lewis Hamilton's engine blew out in 2016 as well, and I dare say that's cost him a bitch. Yeah, that was unfortunately for him. It cost him dearly on that day.
Yeah, that was a very memorable moment for whether you're a Lewis Hamilton fan or a Lewis Hamilton hater. It was very memorable in equal measures when he got that, and even early on, it was a decisive blow for his championship fight that year.
So every single driver, barring one person, by the way, is on the wet compound tyres. So President Elite has gone for the Inters. Now, it is Tetris out there. I'm not quite sure if it's the right strategy to go, but it is Tetris, so maybe... Oh, yeah, I don't think it's the right call.
Come on, it's not Inters. Oh, I might be proven wrong, but I mean, unless it's going to dry up, unless it's due to dry up in Fallout, but even if the weather forecast is saying it's due to dry up, it's approximate weather, so, yeah.
And also, before the race gets going, let me just read you out the championship standings as well, because I almost forgot to do that. So, in the championship standings, it is the man Burmeister leading, and he's got 200. Sorry, that's the wrong one. That's Division 1. It is Burmeister with 258 points, ahead of Yusuf Shebek, who's P2 with 203 points. Veloci Oju is in P3 with 199. Yarham's in P4 with 188. Adams is 5th ahead of Neymar with 169. Neymar's got 149. Klus is 7th place with 130. 8th is Alex Cooper with 122. 9th is Yusuf in DRB with 120. Lord Danny Boy's 10th. And Lord Adam, President Lee, MDJ Zenum, Caspino, Emils, Wuda, Tiger Buka, and Super Striker are the ones to round off there in the championship as well. So Burmeister's got a long advantage in this race. So he doesn't really need to risk anything, does he?
It doesn't actually, but to be honest with you, Burmeister's really good in the wet. When I raced with him in the old Div 2, I think it was it? Yeah, sorry, the old Div 3. He was very good in the wet, and I'm not big pride myself on being good in the wet, and he was very formidable. So I think if he keeps his head about his self today, you'll probably see Burmeister at least get to the podium. Oh, Burmeister. Rex, was it Burmeister? Oh no, it was Vosio Jr. He missed his pit box. He's gone back by a metre, I think it is. So he's already disadvantaged for his start, and that puts Neymar closer. Neymar's nailed it. Zenon's nailed it. Yusef's nailed it, and Burmeister's nailed it. So yeah, the leader of the race is actually way back in his pit box.
We're going to get racing very shortly then here at the Miami Grand Prix. Just waiting for the lights on top of the screen. And as you can see right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights ahead of us. And it's foot to the floor, and we are underway for the Miami Grand Prix. Velocio Jr. gets a decent stop, and here comes Mercedes up the inside. In towards turn 1 they go. As they go side by side in towards the first few corners, you can see the Ferrari and the Racing Bull go wheel to wheel in towards turn 2. Now turn 3 they go. Yusuf gets ahead of Zenum. Bit of contact between those two there, but still keep it on the road. And now Zenum's going to go back around the outside of Yusuf, and he puts himself back into Peter, but Yusuf gets a better exit. I think Zenum had a massive tag left or something, and the virtual safety car has been deployed already.
Yeah, FGL Lauda and Yusuf Farouk, they had front wheel to rear wheel contact, and it span FLG Rude around. I don't think it was anyone's fault. It was a bit of oversteer from FLG Rude, and Yusuf Farouk touched his rear right tyre, and that put him round into the wall. So yeah, unfortunate there from what it looks like, but yeah, that's the reason for the virtual safety car.
So virtual safety car then to neutralise things. You increase your race pace distance by 40%, of course. It's not the actual safety car, it's the VSC, which was introduced back in 2015 at the Monaco Grand Prix. When Verstappen hit the back of Pastor Maldonado and caused a huge crash. Ideally, it should have been a safety car, but I don't know why they put the VSC out there. But anyways, the VSC has been deployed and neutralised, calmed things down for the time being.
It has. FGL Rulder has missing most of his right front wing, so he's going to have to come in and pit. So that'll put him obviously out of contention unless there's a safety car later on. But looking down the field, it doesn't really look like anyone else is disadvantaged. It looks like everyone's sort of in the right position. There's a few people up, few people down, but generally speaking, everyone's there or thereabouts.
Indeed they are. Yusuf, unfortunately, in the Racing Bull, Yusuf Farouk, P6, has sustained a bit of end plate damage there as well, so that's unlucky and not ideal for his first open laps of the Grand Prix. But when are we going to get racing? Because the BSC does... Oh! Yusuf Shebek has hit the back of the Mercedes as we get racing once again, and both RB sustained double damage there, unfortunately. And here comes the Williams around the outside, and Zenum couldn't get the power down. He was very sluggish out of the corner. Burmeister with a much better release gets ahead, and he puts himself into P4. Here comes Yusuf Shebek on Neymar as we head down towards turn 1 we go. Neymar just a bit late on the brakes there, but Yusuf is still there on the inside, outside and towards turn 2, and that's a nice move there to stay in P2, but he is lacking a bit of end plate damage as well, so he might be suffering a bit of understeer. He gets, in the wall he goes, just scrapes it as he fights for traction, as Yusuf and Adams go side by side. As we head down towards turn 4 we go, but Adams swoops it on, there's contact between the two, but not enough in the spin there, as they still remain wheel to wheel there, as Adams just gets ahead for the time being.
Beautiful move from Lord Donnyboy coming into turn 4, I think it was, right round the outside and the sweeping right, and he's now pushing onto the back of MDJ and the likes of Yusuf Farouk, and he's looking very racy, mate.
Yusuf is holding up Neymar because he's got front mid damage as well, so that's why Velocio Jr. is able to pull away and streak ahead as well. Velocio Jr. doing a fantastic job once again in first place. MDJ, good start for him, and there's Yusuf now side by side with the Red Bull driver as we head down towards turn 9 we go, as MDJ just squeezed the Red Bull up into 7th place there. Next target for him is Adams. Despite a difficult qualifying, he's made up 6 places so far. Yarwam has made up 5 places from start to P14, so great there, and the most lost, unfortunately, is Ruda with that contact going in towards the first sector in the twisty part of it and on the first lap as well, so that's a shame for him, but so far not bad.
Yeah, the one saving grace for Rulda is actually that he's now in clean air. As you can see with like the likes of Lord Donnyboy, Yorham and Yusuf Farouk, they're having to slow down in this concertina effect, whereas people Rulda's actually have the chance to actually get some decent lap times in now because he's in that clean air. It might not actually be that disadvantage. He's already made up a second in half a lap, so let's keep an eye on that and see how quickly that gap comes down.
I'm interested in President Lee because he's not losing too much time towards the leader. The gap's stabilising between first and down to 11 between the two Aston Martin boys. There's split strategies. The gap is going down just a little bit by bit, but I think like with the game module, the game physics, like the record partai and Inters are not really realistic in terms of the game itself. As Neymar goes a bit wide in towards turn 4, turn 5, compromises entry, and Burmeister will be all over the back of him, no doubt, very surely as well. But President Elite in P11 has kept up towards this DRS train as Yarum is up into P8 and he goes up the inside in towards turn 8. So, massive oversteer as well to go with it, and a correction on the outside as we see Zedham and Burmeister and Adams then all involved in a battle for second place, as President Elite is showing some promising pace so far, the Inters, and if it does get better and better, he could be on the preferred strategy, P11.
Yeah, a good point there, Jamie. I'm just looking at Neymar as well. It looks like from the graphics that he's actually got quite a lot of battery to his disposal. Yusuf Shabek is pretty low, but then obviously you've got Velocio Jr., who's about midway on his battery, but obviously he's got nearly a 3-second lead now. So there's going to be a breakaway, I think, here. Unless Yusuf Shabek gets a move on, they're going to get split pretty soon. And Burmeister is on the back of these guys as well. He's pushing, so they can't hang about. They need to get a move on. As you see, again, concertina effect into that last turn.
Adams is trying to go up the inside of Zedham there. He's lost. Oh my goodness me, he's lost it again. He constantly fights for traction there. As here comes MDJ now, around the outside, in towards the final 3 corners. As we see them two go side by side, Yarum sets the fast up to Grand Prix as he's down to P8. But as we head down towards turn 1, we go a bit of contact there between the McLaren and the Red Bull driver. And here comes Yarum as well, looking to take advantage. And let's see if he can or not. But gets very out of shape out of turn 2 and turn 3 as well, after taking a lot of curve there as well, trying to get back at the power as quickly as he can. But Adams lost traction quite a few times in towards the turn 17 corner there, unfortunately for him, and lost a lot of time towards Zedham as well, who's now been released up to P5 and can be relieved under pressure a bit. But here comes Yarum with the inside of MDJ. That's a lovely move. That's the second time I've seen Yarum do this, and he's up the inside again, so great move there from the Haas driver.
Yeah, just on with Burmeister now, mate. He's making a run down that back S section towards the stadium. He's about to make a move on the inside on Neymar. He's going to make it done. Neymar pushes him, but he does make it into the corner first on the apex, but then there's contact slightly as he gets pushed wide. Neymar on the inside now. Will he have the better line as he comes into the next section? No, Neymar comes out on top and is through in the lead. Interesting fighting for them two there, but yeah, Burmeister is looking very racy.
That was good defending and attacking there from Neymar and Burmeister as well. Great battle between those two in the wet conditions in the twisty part of the final sector as well. Kept it unscathed, and Neymar there just managed to hold on against Burmeister, who had the speed and run on him down the back straight, but unfortunately just couldn't seem to complete the overtake then, as Zedham is still looking interested back in this battle. Adams is still catching up. The gap was 1.8, now it's 1.2. So Adams, despite that little hiccup in towards this corner here, he's still managed to get some decent pace on his hands as well. And President Elite in P10 now is still on the back of Yusuf as well, but Yusuf does have the front wing damage, unfortunately. Both RBs do sustain front wing damage there as well, so that's why they're struggling so far in this Grand Prix, just having no downforce whatsoever in the high speed corners.
Yeah, I'm just looking at President Lee actually. He's doing quite well on those intermediates. He's kind of holding steady at half a second behind Yusuf Farouk, and I'm wondering if this rain's going to get lighter, will that catapult him up the order? Or is he going to burn his tyres out from sliding too much on those inters? As you see, FGL Rudel getting a fastest lap of 1:41.781. He's gone from 21.5 seconds down to 17 in just under 3 laps. So, yeah, he's doing really well, but not making up the time that he needs. But yeah, what do you think, mate? Do you think President Elite's tyres are going to last this sliding in the wet? I think it's going to get drier and he comes through.
I think that Predator Elite's actually a very good strategy. I think that Inters are working really well for him so far, and maybe if it does get dry towards the Grand Prix, he could do Inter dries or maybe Inter for his sake, and the rest of the guys might have to do wet to Inter as well. So this is good information for Logic M Jr. and P1 because he's on the wet compound tyres, seeing his teammate progress through the field then, as we see President Elite now back on this train with MDJ, Yarwell and Adams there as well, all for good measure, as Neymar's right behind Yusuf then. Here we are with the battery and the slipstream. Let's see if he goes to it down in towards turn 17. Surely this is his biggest chance now. He's losing a lot of time against the RB because the RB, as you can see, is missing a left end plate there, so hasn't got, well, he's got carried too much speed, too much down, understeer, sorry, down towards the high speed corners as he's in the pit lane.
Yeah, and we just saw Burmeister just slightly tap the back of Neymar. I don't think it got damaged, but yeah, there was a slight tap there coming into the last turn. As he just goes on the inside line into turn 1, gets the inside, and will he get a good traction out of this corner? Yes, he will. But then he's got the Ferrari of Zenon all on the back of him, so he needs to get through this section really quickly and get a bit of time, a bit of breathing room.
And also Burmeister has lost his... yes, he has. So Burmeister has lost his end plate there. Not quite sure where that happened. Maybe the Constantino effect you were talking about down in towards turn 17 there. But unfortunately, his wing has gone as well. So yeah, let's see then.
It's the contact I just mentioned into that last hairpin before the start-finish straight. He just tapped the back of Neymar, but he was at a slight angle, maybe a 15 to 20 degree angle, and that was just enough, I think, just to dink his wing. And that's why that damage. I think that's why that damage is there.
How costly is it for his race then towards the last stage of the Grand Prix? Will he get that front wing changed in the pit lane? Does he want to lose a lot of time there and try and make it back up towards the Grand Prix by changing his wing? We're about to find out. Can he withstand? We know some people are really good at managing to continue with a broken front wing. I'm not quite sure how they do it because it's so much understeer as well, especially in the pad as well. It's so hard to get the car turned in.
I think he's going to struggle the most in the first sector for that sharp left turn. Obviously, when turning left, you need your right wing to apply pressure to the ground, and he's lost that. So I think he's going to have to go much slower into that S section, and that's going to leave him vulnerable all through down that back swinging straight that goes to the stadium section. So we'll soon see, because he's got about another 8 or 9 turns to that section. So we'll soon see if Burmeister's going to struggle into that section.
President Elite gets past MDJ. He forces his way down on the inside as MDJ now peels off into the pit lane, as Yusuf now also follows him in the pit lane too, as they adhere to the pit lane speed limit of 50 kilometers an hour. Of course, a very slow pit lane entry indeed there. So let's see then, those guys go from wets to inters, and let's see President Elite then. He's 1.8 seconds behind of Yoram as well. So great strategy call from going from last up to P7 on the intermediates as well. So that's a fantastic strategy there. I wonder how it will go in the next part of the Grand Prix as well. Let's see how long can he keep those inters alive for as well, because I think it is a one stop of the inters. I don't think they can go all the way to the end of the Grand Prix by starting one set alone. So I think maybe it could be inter. I'm not sure actually.
I think it might be alright, you know. Once the inters get worn, it depends on the rain intensity. That's what's going to be key, because the inters, for some reason, they don't really burst. You know, you can take them so far. The wear's a lot less, even though you feel the traction loss. The general wear isn't as much. So I think these guys might actually be all right going to the end on these if it stays raining.
Let's see then, because I haven't really commentated on a full wet race for a long time then, so I'm quite sure about the tyre life. But if it is a full wet race like this, then the tyres should be okay, but obviously we'll see how it all changes later on in the Grand Prix. So we can see that Neymar is right behind Burmeister, and let's see if he goes to an overtake. Let's see if one of these guys will dive off into the pit lane. Watch out for Ferrari behind us, but he's too far behind.
I think Burmeister will, mate. He's struggling on those left turns. Sorry, he's struggling on the left turns. He's losing time. I don't think he can sustain it. He's going again, but look now, he's so struggling on that left turn.
That broken end play has certainly cost him as well, as Adams now in the background has set the fastest of the Grand Prix as he chases down after Zenom in 4th place after making a big mistake on the final few laps as well. as he lost traction out of turn 17. He's gaining on Xenon once again, so let's see if he can try and get himself back in contention on Xenon. Yarl's there as well in P6. He's doing a fantastic job. So let's see then the situation. President leads to P7, of course, on the Inters he started with, and we've got a few people who've got the Inters now, which is Emil Yusuf, MDJ Yusuf as well. So let's see how the strategy pays out for them. I think it is time for intermediate conditions, because it doesn't look as treacherous as it was at the beginning of the Grand Prix. It seems to be easing off just a little bit, I think.
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, the fastest lap by Yusuf is a 40.1. The fastest time on the wet tyre is a 40.9 by the looks of it, or 40.8, sorry. So yeah, I think it is Inter's time. It might just be that the track's rubbing in as well, which is making that crossover point a little bit earlier than what they'd expect. But it certainly is raining less, or less intense, and these Inters certainly look like a little bit better than these wets.
Indeed they are then, as Burmeister is holding up a massive train right behind him. He is struggling with that broken end plate there. He's got Neymar, Xenom, Adams and Yoram right behind as well. And the President Elite, who's catching involved in this battle as well. He's 9/10 away from Yoram. But in the background, I think we just saw that Yusuf overtook Roda. He did put himself into P12. He's absolutely flying there. It says 1 second up in the first sector already is the RB driver. So it looks like the intermediates are definitely the way to go, because the track keeps getting faster and faster with all the water evaporated off the circuit as well. Here comes Neymar in the pit lane then, and Matt Zenom as well, also following the pit lane too, to complete their stint on the wet car tyres. Go to the Inters and see, can they take them towards the end of the Grand Prix, as President Elite sets up for the Grand Prix. Oh, Mercedes has gone completely off there. That's Atlas Copo, who's outbroke himself. He's in the runoff area, so I'm not quite sure what happened to him as he rejoins back on the track. There's a big mistake there from Atlas Copo. I just saw the map that somebody just went straight on at turn 16, and that was Atlas Copo. What a massive shame there for Atlas Copo. Unfortunately, Yusuf now sets fast up the Grand Prix. He's up into P7 on his Inters. Look who's rejoined. Look who's rejoined in front of him. It is Neymar, but Yusuf with the hotter tyres gets past him, puts himself into P6 there, and that was a very good move indeed. Very crucial for his race as well to get past Neymar.
Yeah, before he set the fastest lap, Jamie, I was about to say, President Elite setting the fastest lap on used Inters is pretty much confirmation that the Inters are very much the type to be on. But yeah, Yusuf for it with a 39.6, and the track's only going to get quicker, so yeah, great racing from these guys. But I think the wet tyre runners are going to start to struggle, and we're seeing Burmeister just losing traction on the rear the second he puts the power down. So I think maybe his tyres are overheating, or maybe these tyres just aren't cutting out for this track conditions right now.
But Burmeister retired last season in Miami as well, so it hasn't really gone well for him so far. Plus, these guys on the wet car tyres who have stayed out are bound to be undercutted, except Lochov Jr., who's got a massive gap, but I dare say P2 downwards might be undercutted from the guys behind as well. There they are, that quartet in this field. And let's see which one of these guys will dial off into the pit lane. We've got Lochov Jr., the race leader in the pit lane, Yarum, and Adams have stayed out then. And we've got President Elite, obviously, who'll stay out because of the intermediate car tyres as well. But I'm surprised by that, Dan, these two have stayed out.
Yeah, I am a bit, mate, because maybe it's because they don't realise how fast the guy... You got to remember, when you're racing, you only see 5 people on the timing screen. You see the 2 people in front and the 2 people behind. Unless you're first place, you see the 4 people behind. They don't know what the guys in the midfield are doing unless they say, what's the fastest lap? And I'll tell you, the fastest lap is such and such, set on mediums or set on whatever. So unless they're attentive enough to request that from their engineer, they don't have a clue. So at the minute, Adams thinks, I'm in the lead, I'm doing alright. He don't realise it is actually probably in P12 once he pits, unless a safety car happens. So this is all racing foresight, we could say.
And Burmeister as well, as President Elite gets past Yoram then, that's down towards turn 9 around the outside, but Yoram trying to go back down the inside, but I think, he goes off the track, does President Elite there, just wanders off the racetrack, and now they're still wheel to wheel, but so close to contact there as Yoram slides away out of the corner, as President Elite now puts himself in to second place. A great drive from him indeed, to go on the intermediate compound tyres and manage to keep up with the guys as well on the wet compound tyres during the early stages when the weather was an absolute monsoon. We've got Yusuf right behind Neymar as well with Zenom, MDJ and Burmeister. So Burmeister has rejoined in P9, so he has changed his wing, but unfortunately for him, he's lost a lot of time then. Can he make it back with 19 laps left to go in the Grand Prix?
I'm really intrigued to see how this is going to happen, and I don't understand why these guys are staying out. You can see the dry line starting to, not the dry line, but the drier line starting to appear. It's blatantly Inter's, Webber. Do you think they're waiting out for a safety car?
I don't know what they actually do, to be honest with you. Maybe trying to prolong the life of the Inters towards in the Grand Prix. Maybe a safety car could be Adam's saving grace, because he's going to get undercut massively into it. He's going to be drawing further away down the field there with the guys close on him all the time, every single lap he spends on the wet compound tyres. So, yeah, I'm quite intrigued about Adam's strategy. Is it going to work out for him? Is it not? I'm not quite sure. They just want the one stop, says those guys.
Yeah, I just generally don't know how it's going to pan out, mate. I can't see how it's going to work out for these guys.
Adam's been hunted down by President Leader, of course, on those intermediates after a fantastic strategy call from the Aston Martin driver, put himself into second place there as he went from last up into P2. And now he's chasing down Adams for the net lead of the Grand Prix. Remember, the top two haven't pitted just yet because President Lee started on the intermediate compound tyres after a great strategy call, kept them alive as well, or kept them good in the opening stage of the Grand Prix, as it wasn't too torrential for him. As President Lee then taps the ball on the outside, we've seen that plenty of times for people as he tries to set himself up out of the exit then, use the battery, but he's barely got any battery left in his disposal to use then, as Adams goes defensive on the inside line there, as he covers the inside lap, now goes towards the right hand side. Here comes the lead. Will he go down the inside in towards turn 17? No, he doesn't. He stays behind the time being there. Also he did look like he could go for a move, but not yet.
Question I've got, mate, and it's probably on a lot of people's tongues. Is it going to stay raining, or is it going to dry up? Is that why these guys are staying out? Is it going to dry up, or are these guys trying to go as long as possible because they know that it's going to stay raining and they want to finish on a fresh set of wet or fresh set of intermediate tyres? Because for me, the only reason you stay out this long on the wrong tyres, well, President League's technically on the right tyres, but they're worn Inters. Adams is on worn, semi-worn wets. Surely the only reason you stay out on those is if A, you don't know that the intermediate tyres are much faster, or B, you know it's going to continue raining and you want to be on the fresher wet weather tyres later on.
And I think these guys are looking to do the one stop as well, as here comes President Lee then switches around the outside of Adams to take the lead of the Grand Prix, as Adams has to give way. No grip on those wet compound tyres, unfortunately, but I think that these guys acknowledging the tyre as well around here, because like Martin said, it is a real tyre killer track as well, so maybe these guys are trying to go as long as they can to try and do the one stop only, whereas some people might have to do two stop depending if they can eat their Inters out towards in the Grand Prix. We'll see if they've got any grip left in them, any tread or rubber left in those tyres towards in the Grand Prix if they don't make their second stop. But Adams then still one of the few drivers on the wet compound tyres. Roder's out there as well in P12, but we know he's spun on the first lap due to contact was made as well, fortunately for him. But Adams then gaining on the back of President Lee, but he's a bit too far behind to make him move. I wonder how long will Adams keep this up for? When would he go need to be the compound tyres?
I'd say pretty soon, mate, because he's got almost no, he's used most of his battery just to keep on the back of President Lee. We just see President Lee get a little bit rear happy there coming into the last dogleg of this track. So Adams, he's so out of battery, but President Lee isn't that far better either. So these two really trading corner times. It's just who's going to come out on top. President Lee's side struggled out on those 12-lap-old Inters, but Adams doing a really good job by clinging onto his coattails.
Mega job indeed. And Burmeister, when he came out of the pit lane, the gap was 4 seconds between himself and Jarman MDJ. Now the gap is 1.6 seconds. So Burmeister, the Dutchman, the championship leader, has been pushing a lot in this Grand Prix, and he's brought that gap down to 1.5. That is Adams is set a personal best there in the middle set, in the first sector as well, despite being on old wet compound tyres. So the track is getting better and better there for the drivers, as Zellum is right behind Yusuf then. I wonder if those people that pitted quite early during the Grand Prix, like MDJ and whoever else pitted as well, I think it was Yusuf, I think their tyres might give the ghost towards in the Grand Prix. We're about to find out shortly. Zedum is right behind Yusuf. Can Zedum make an overtake, or is he going to be patient?
It was Yusuf, he also pitted quite early. But we've also got, obviously, we saw Rulder, that incident early on. He had to go into the wets, so he's disadvantaged now by being on the slightly wrong tyre, even if it was, at the time, the right tyre to go on. Same with Klauser. He had to stop quite early on, 4 laps in. He's also on the wet tyre, and yeah, it's unfortunate for those guys because they had incidents, but it just shows that the racing gods sometimes aren't with you. Adams gets a massive spin. Oh, sorry, Adams is in. Adams is in. He's gone against it now. He's going to put some inters on.
So, lap 14 out of 29 then, we're almost halfway into this Grand Prix as the Aston Martin 1-2. We're still awaiting President Lee to pit. I don't think he could go towards the end of those inters because they'll be gone towards the end of the Grand Prix, trust me. As we see Adams then, let's see where will he rejoin. He's gone for the offset tyre strategy with the better inters towards the end, so let's hope for him it pays dividends because he's rejoined a whole gaggle of cars. He wasn't really fighting in the first stint, but now stint out there quite a long time, knows what compound tyres. The guys behind have managed to undercut him. He's rejoined down in P10 there, so let's see if Adams has the pace in the final 15 laps of the Grand Prix.
I suspect he will do, mate, because it's all about that rear traction. The fronts don't really matter too much around here, I don't think, but the rears is what really does matter, and I think he's going to have that traction available to him. So as long as he keeps it nice and easy on the front axle, uses the rear axle to get the acceleration out there, you could see Adams get up to about 5th place.
Let's see then, or maybe a podium, depends what the situation like towards the end of the Grand Prix, as we see Zenham rise to the back of Yusuf once again. Both RB drivers, remember, had front wing damage, hence why they're not really in the fight anymore, as we've got quite a few big gaps, segregating all these drivers. The closest battle is between Zenham and Yusuf, as Zenham makes a little bit of a mistake in the chicane there, got a bit wide, but nevertheless he makes it, and hopefully for him did not pick up a track limit violation either, because that could be very costly indeed. But Yusuf then, I presume he's got a brand new front wing. He has, because both Racing Bulls both had front wing damage and now they've repaired it, so maybe Yusuf might have the pace again and the grip, try and get after Neymar if he can.
Yeah, I'm not sure how Yusuf Fruit's going to make it further up the field. We see Adams just was about to make his first overtake. Yeah, I'm not sure how Yusuf Fruit's going to get better than where he is now. He's on 7 lap old inters and he's not really got anything in his arsenal to push forward, I don't think, in my opinion.
Oh, massive sliding towards turn one between Yoram and Burmeister there, so Burmeister putting Yoram under massive pressure. You can see him just sliding through there as Yoram also loses grip as well. Burmeister goes out wide and he almost lost the rear in the car. Massive tank slapper there for Burmeister, but keeps it pointing in the right direction there as he loses time towards Yoram as well. Both squirming away out of turn 1 and turn 2 and turn 3. The heavy braking zone indeed, as it's very important to pick up traction. Once again, a massive snap there. You can definitely tell that they're trying to fight with the car on the limits at all times, every single lap as well in the wet conditions. As you know, can he get past Yusuf or is he just stuck behind there as well? MDJ is up into P6 and as you can see he's hunted down the Ferrari driver, then he's on 2 lap order into medium compound tyres. But I'm surprised about President Lee, still shows some good pace, but when is he going to pit?
I don't know, I've been thinking that myself, and I mean he's got what 14 laps left, so he's have to do something soon, because down to put leader on probably Lord Donivai's area, so he needs to get a move on. I mean, the only thing that's going to save him is if he pits in the next 2 laps. He's then got like 12 laps to make up a second a lap, which could then put him around 4th place if he has clean consecutive laps every single lap, because everyone else who's in front of him will be on aging tyres, so that lap delta could put him up to about 4th place if he pits now, and he has done his pit now. There you go, I called it.
Let's see where President Lee rejoins in this battle, possibly behind Adams or maybe in between Adams and Yusuf, but he actually drops further back as well. That's the power of the undercut there, old tyres versus new tyres. But now President Lee is up to P10 on a brand new set of inters. He should be the quickest now towards the end of the Grand Prix. Watch out for him in the last stages. It could be very interesting there on the brand new set of inters.
Oh, and saying that, I actually thought it'd be about 24 seconds for a pit lap. It's not, it must be a little bit less, because he's now actually only 16.5 seconds from the leader. So if he's a second a lap quicker, he could be anywhere around P3. I thought P4, but he might be actually on for a podium here, mate. If he can get every single lap done with a second delta advantage, he'll be on the podium.
Plus as well, he's got to carve his way through the field as well, so he can't afford to be stuck behind people as well while he's trying to overtake them, because sometimes it can be very easy to be stuck behind somebody in the rain. It's quite difficult unless you've got a massive tyre advantage to overtake people in the rain.
Yeah, but there is gaps there of over a second between most people, so as long as he can save some battery for the straight and get past them, he will have not clean air but clean air to just settle in and find that next DRS, not DRS zone, but the next power zone. So yeah, he's up in the air at the minute, but I think he will do well here, as long as he can look after his battery and deploy when he needs to.
The battle for P3 is looking very interesting there between Yusuf, Zenom and MDJ as well. So Yusuf is under massive pressure. Remember, he had front wing damage to start the Grand Prix, and that's why he dropped all the way behind. But so far, nobody is touching Velocio Jr. in first place, going for his second win in a row since he won at the Canadian Grand Prix last week in Canada, and he did a fantastic job because he didn't pick up any penalties despite being under massive pressure at a track like Canada as well. And here we are in Miami, doing a fantastic job once again, trying to get P2 off Yusuf Shebek in the Drivers' Championship as well. So that's fantastic racing and fantastic drive. Nobody has challenged him ever since the lights went out, really.
Yeah, just looking on board of President Elite, mate, and if you jump on board, he's pushing way too hard already. He's not looking great on these new tyres. He's just pushing the limits way too much. He needs to calm down, I think, mate. He's all on the back of Yusuf Farouk. He's about to go past him now. Into this next hairpin stadium section, but all throughout that first part of the track he was just absolutely pushing it and not being very tidy at all. We'll just see him then get understeer, oversteer. Let's see what he does through the stadium section. And he puts the power down. Will he spin a little bit? Yeah, he's getting oversteer, understeer. So yeah, I think he needs to calm down, find his rhythm, and then just push on once his intermediates have warmed up.
Yeah, the newest Inters out of the lot then, so he should be comfortable towards the Grand Prix. Now Zenom, is this his big chance to get past the Racing Bull driver? Here we are for the battle for P3. Here he is up the inside, but Yusuf just later on the brakes there, stays in P3. Great defensive driving there from Yusuf, as Zenom then has to remain in P4 for the time being. That's the first real sign that we've seen the Zenom attacking the Racing Bull driver just by this time, but we know MDJ and Yor were right there as well behind. And also Burmeister and Adams, as Adams has caught up to Burmeister actually, so the gap is 4.3 of a second between those two former championship rivals from last season, Adams and Burmeister, when Mansell won the championship last season in Division 2. But unfortunately, Mansell and Electro Dan are not racing here with us tonight, as they decided to call quits on the game prematurely. As we see this battle then unfolding for P3, you can see Yusuf Shebek sliding and snaking around in the first sector, really having troubles getting on the power as quick as he needs. Look at Zenom there with the cornering speed, just managed to get more speed than the Racing Bull driver, as we now head. Oh, he hit the wall. Both of them hit the wall there on the outside. That's quite bizarre indeed. Now, is this another chance for the Ferrari driver to go around the outside in towards turn 9? Hasn't got the battery to do so. But as we head down towards the braking zone, who is going to be late to the brakes? It is Yusuf, but here comes Zenom letting off the brake pedal, trying to go around the outside. Off the track he goes, but now has the inside line next corner. Watch out, because MDJ is right there too. As Yusuf goes out wide, and MDJ says thank you very much, I'll take away P4, and Zenom's been released into P3 as well. So unfortunately, Yusuf, big mistake there, cost him a podium, David.
Yeah. And that's actually just puts Yaham back into the grips of Burmeister, who's getting pushed by Adams. So that incident there that you just spoke of, it's pushed Yaham out wide, and it's put him into the front wing of Burmeister, who's now nose to tail with him, and then just behind him it's Adams, and just behind him is closing is President Elite. So this has actually caused a bit of a concertina effect, as these cars in front are going to help Adams and President Elite big time.
Oh, look at this side-by-side between the Racing Bull. Oh, the Racing Bull goes off the track, has to cut the corner completely there, as there's barely any space left be given between those two. Yoram is up into P5, and here comes Adams, not down the inside though, because Burmeister just brakes a little bit later than the McLaren driver. The McLaren driver must be so frustrated because he's on younger intermediates as he gets a second time penalty there. So Adams is the first driver in the field to get himself a second time penalty. President Elite is rapidly catch up as well on the back of his pack.
And it's these guys in front with the slightly older intermediate tyres that are causing this to happen. Oh, as Adams makes a move, oh, he spins. He just caught the back left of Burmeister, and that put him out of sync. But yeah, as I was saying though, it's these guys in front that are on the older intermediate tyres that's causing this sort of concertina effect for Adams. And Adams just needs to pick his moment right and get past these guys, because once he gets past them, or if he can get past them, he might be able to get a sail off into the wind. But President Elite is within touching distance now. He's less than a second behind Adams, so this is really falling to President Elite's hands now. And it's just, can they get past them? That's the trick. Can they get past a gaggle of cars? It wasn't so bad when there was a good second and a half between them, but there's tenths now. That's going to be an issue for President Elite and Adams, so they need to clear them quick.
Guys, they're all mixed around on different tire age compounds as well. As Burmeister gets ahead of the Racing Bull driver, puts himself into P6 there, and Adams and President Leeds are in the background approaching now as Burmeister goes a bit wide. Will that open the door for Yusuf to go through again? He doesn't, but Burmeister, as Yusuf is in the pit lane then. That's very interesting. 13 laps still on the inters. He's in the pit lane again.
I don't understand that, mate. He's not got enough time to make up, unless he thought he was losing so much time he'd be at last by the finish. I don't know why he'd done that, mate. Did he have damage, do you think? Well, let me go to him.
No, he doesn't, mate.
No, no damage. No, that's weird.
Does he think that, does he think he might be in punch territory towards the later end of the Grand Prix? Because the tyres around here don't really last that long. It's a tyre killer track as well. So let's see then if that's the reason why Yusuf pitted as Coppo's in the pit lane as well.
Lap 6 to lap 19. That was only 13 laps. Another 10. Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe. Could be punch territory. No, but the intermediates are quite resilient like that. You can push them a lot further than the slicks in terms of percentage. Maybe it's a pace thing. Maybe he feels he can make it up.
Oh, Adams almost dropped it once again out of turn 11, I believe it was, and he's put it down Burmeister, as unfortunately he does have that 3-second tablet. But the battle for P3 is still looking very good between MDJ and Zenom, because ever since MDJ overtook the Ferrari driver, Zenom and Yoram are still able to catch up on the back of P3 then. So good pace there from those two. Let's see then how this all unfolds in terms of tyres towards the Grand Prix, whether they're shed or not towards the last stage. I have no idea. We'll find out later, won't we, to see what happens with the tyres, who's made the right call and who hasn't. What was the best strategy? Just to elongate the first stint and try and get the best into towards the end, maybe?
I don't know, mate, but I'm just looking at some maths now, mate, and Yusuf is 32 seconds behind the leader. He pitted from, was it 6th or 7th? I think it was 7th. Let's call it 15 seconds. That's 12 seconds difference. 35, so 17 seconds difference. So if he can make up 17 seconds in 9 laps, which is well over a second and a half, or a second 1.3 seconds, was it the fact he feels that he couldn't make any more positions up, but by pitting and coming back up the field he'd get back to where he was rather than losing positions? But it's a big ask, I think. 1.3 a lap for the next 9 laps.
It is indeed then, so I wonder how that'll pay off for him. And currently right behind Danny Boyd, the gap is 4 seconds as well, as his teammates right ahead of him as well, so maybe get out of the way for him. As we see then on the second DRS zone, as President Lee finally gets past Adams, he puts himself into P7 there, and he has the benefit of those intermediate compound tyres there, so his tyres should be in a lot better shape, because look at the battle now for P4. Zenom has dropped away from MDJ. There's a whole gaggle of cars right behind him looking to take advantage, as Zenom skips and jumps over the chicane, and Yoram there loses traction as well, as Zenom went a bit wide, almost into the wall there as well for good measure. Now Yoram, he can't seem to get the power, he doesn't have the battery life either to try and hunt down Zenom for 4th place, as MDJ is streaking away in the 4th round. And here comes Burmeister now as he puts himself into P5, way ahead of Yoram before the corner. But here comes Yoram back down the inside into towards turn 17 we go. It's a late braking manoeuvre and he makes it stick. What a fantastic move. And look at this, Zenom's made a big mistake. And Yoram gets up into P4, that's 2 for 1 as Burmeister puts himself into P5 as well. And now Burmeister is back in the attack with Yoram going defensive on the inside in towards turn 1. And I don't think Burmeister can get past on this occasion. Yoram places the car in the right time as well.
Yeah, it was a bit late from Yarham on that move down the straight as well, to be honest with you. He moved very late as Burmeister went to go around him, probably just on the limit, but I think Burmeister's going to be paying him back for that one, I think.
Almost contact there between President Elite and Adams, because Adams somehow got a good launch around the outside towards turn number 4, but he couldn't make it stick, and he almost each other as well, did Adams and President Elite. Could have easily spun there as well. And now President Elite is right at the back of Zenom then. Zenom is struggling on those intermediates, judging by the lack of pace he's having so far in that Ferrari. He puts himself into P6, and this is looking very good so far. Maybe NDJ might not be safe in P3. It all depends though how quickly President Elite can dispose these two cars, and let's see if the podium's on the cards for him as well. So MDJ can't afford to breathe easy just yet in this Grand Prix, because we might have President Elite on the scene very shortly.
Yeah, it's interesting looking at the position changes as well, Jamie. If you flick it on for the viewers to see, there's quite a lot of interesting data there just from the positions gained. You know, MDJ and Yam both up 10 positions, President Elite up 9 positions. So, and they're, all three of those people are on different strategies. So yeah, really interesting to see.
Burmeister putting big pressure on Yoram once again as they swerve away out on the final few corners. Burmeister once again looking to go for a move on Yoram, but Yoram has no battery and no response, and Burmeister covers the inside line. There's a bit of contact between those two there. It's a late move from Burmeister, but Yoram trying to go back around the outside, but he can't do so. There's no grip around there for Yoram to go swooping back down in towards fourth place. As you can see, President Elite swerving away as Yoram once again continues to fight with the car on the exit of the corner.
Yeah, you know when I said there's going to be payback from Burmeister, I think that was it, mate. So when Yahan moved late down the straight, I think Burmeister moving in the braking was him saying, you're not doing that again, mate. So they're equal now in my turn. So that's payback that I predicted was going to come from Burmeister.
And here comes President Leeds on the intermediate compound tyres, fresher than the rest of them. He's on the back of Yoram, he's on the prowl. As here comes President Leeds, and side by side with Yoram as he puts himself into P5. And here he is up the inside, maybe in towards turn 9. He can't quite do it. Oh, here comes Yoram back around the outside. But doesn't have the grip or momentum on the outside there, and he stays behind in P6.
Yeah, but the only thing this is doing though, Jamie, is allowing MDJ to solidify his P3. You know, he's 9 seconds in the lead now from Burmeister, so this is literally a P4. It's not even a podium anymore.
It all depends though how quickly Elite can get past Burmeister. You've got to do it right now, because look at the tyre difference between MDJ and Elite by about 9 laps, I think it is. Yes, 9 lap difference between those two, and that's a big difference as well. So MDJ will be hoping that Burmeister will try and hold the President Elite as much as he can to try and prevent that podium being taken away from him, because if President Elite gets past right now, then I dare say he might get the podium, get towards MDJ and overtake him, but it all depends though, how good is his defensive skills.
4 seconds, or 3 seconds is it? Would his tyres be enough though? President Elite, six laps better than Burmeister, and then nearly 8 laps better than MDJ, so yeah, President Elite needs to get past Burmeister, and past Burmeister quick.
And where can he do it? Is it here at turn 8? No, he can't. He stays behind.
Nah, it'll be down. Yeah, it'll be the end of this S section to the stadium, I think.
We got a spinner down there, and I wonder who that was. Was it Yoram? I'm not quite sure who it was. I don't want to assume, of course, but unfortunately they made a mistake. And here comes President Elite then. He's almost been able to wheel with MDJ as he uses a lot of batteries. He switches the inside line there. Back. Can President Elite outbrake him in towards turn 9? This is a very crucial move from the Aston Martin driver. He can. Keeps it controlled on the brakes there as he puts himself into P4. Now the hunt is on between P3 and P4. Let's see. Where is... Well, oh no! Oh, never mind then. He's got a penalty, has MDJ.
Yeah, just going back to that move from President Elite. When he first decided to do that move up the inside, the racing car's width wasn't even there. He predicted that so brilliantly well. He kind of knew that Burmeister had moved to the right, and he just had to basically trust that he would, and he did, and that's how that move was done, because he predicted it so brilliantly.
And Yoram's back down the inside as well, in towards the final corner. We go in turn 17 as they bang wheels out of the heavy traction zone indeed, as Yoram gets ahead of Burmeister. Burmeister seems to be struggling so far, but Burmeister just inching forwards, used the bit of battery he has in his disposal to keep himself in P5 ahead of the Hasbad as well. Adams is not really catching this battle as I thought he'd be in P7 there, despite having a bit of a better tyre advantage in terms of Burmeister and Yoram. Look at Burmeister continuously fighting away. He's just so reluctant to get the power there. The car just seems so sluggish. He just can't seem to get traction when he needs to either. Hence why he's losing a lot of time. And Yoram was right at the back of him as well as we head down towards turn 8 and turn 9 as Wilder sets the fast lap of the Grand Prix.
Here's one for you, Jamie. I've just checked President Elite's lap times. He's on 2 warnings, mate. So MDJ needs to pray to the racing gods that President Elite picks up a warning, but now he's in clean air. I don't think he will. He doesn't even have to race, but MDJ. He just has to stay within 3 seconds of him. That's all he has to do. And as long as Burmeister isn't catching him, he's happy. You know, he's already at 2.4. He's going a little bit less, 2.3. He doesn't even need to race him. Obviously, he's going to want to overtake him on track, but he doesn't have to. He can just stick behind him and take 3rd place.
Indeed then, he's got the pressure enters and he knows the driver ahead of him has a penalty. as Xenon gets a 3-second penalty now in this Grand Prix. But however, it's been raining throughout the whole race. It's rare to see a full wet race in SFR in Division 2 nowadays, and Division 1 as well. But nice to see that the intermediates and the wets are spicing things up. No DRS has been enabled in this Grand Prix because obviously it's the wet conditions. DRS is not allowed. As we see that Burmeister and Yar once again just squirming away very Tetris indeed on those inters. Must be getting worn out now with the amount of wheel spin and energy they put into it as well.
I'm just looking as well. I think the only way MDJ is going to keep this position is if President Lee gets a penalty and also MDJ saves his battery. I just don't understand how he's going to keep P3 without him getting a penalty for starters, but also he needs to save the battery to stay in front. Firstly, he has to stay in front, and if he doesn't stay in front, he's lost it. If President Lee doesn't get a penalty, he's also looking very slim that he's going to get this P3 now.
It is. What a fantastic drive. This man using his brain to go on the intermediate tyres at the very start of the Grand Prix. And he made it work as well, because I expected him to be suffering on those intermediates at the start of the Grand Prix when the weather was at its absolute peak in terms of torrential downpour. But it's getting lighter and lighter. The track's getting quicker and quicker. Obviously, we won't see the dry compound tyres, but it's into conditions now. Light standing water, which is good enough for the green wall tyres to come out. As President Lee then, let's see how much risk he's willing to take against MDJ, because Adams gets a 3-second penalty. But at the same time, though, Dan, as a driver, you want to get past on track, but
Of course you do.
President Leeds has got 2 warnings, so how much risk is he willing to take against MDJ? Because one slight hiccup could result as a 3-second penalty. So how much risk do you take to here?
I won't take any risk at this position, but do you remember back when we first discussed President Leeds being on those intermediates, and I said he's probably going to be good enough for 4th? You went, I think he'd be good enough for 3rd. You said 3rd, I said 4th. I think we were both pretty much on the money there, but you were right, mate. I think he's going to get 3rd here, and that means you were predicting better than me today.
I think it was just all about the first stint, really, just trying to go as long as you can on the wets or inter, depends what you started on, and try and make them last, try and get the best tyres towards in the Grand Prix, because for those people that pitted quite early, they're starting to feel the effects of the intermediates going off as well, as Zedham's rejoined in P10, so Zedham has dropped a lot of places there as well. He was in P5, but unfortunately he's into 10th place there. He hasn't spun, but I think his tyres getting very old.
Now he's about to make an overtake, mate.
Here we go, side by side, and Elite does get him on the track. He puts himself into P3, so MDJ unfortunately won't get a podium, as he might lose 5th place as well, because Burmeister is 2.6 seconds behind as well of MDJ. MDJ has run a very strong race so far. He started down in 13th place, and his pace on the inters in the wet conditions have been formidable, but unfortunately it just that penalty's cost him big time as well, and he pitted quite early during the Grand Prix as well, so maybe his tyres are starting to give the ghost a bit.
Yeah, just looking at Burmeister's penalties as well. He's only got 1 warning, mate, so Burmeister's got a little bit in the tank to give. So MDJ needs to get a move on, or he might actually lose 6, because Yahan isn't that far behind Burmeister. And at this stage of the game, with 16 lap old inters, Yahan might actually be losing a bit of time. He's got a buffer with Adams, because Adams got that penalty. But yeah, Burmeister, Yahan, old tyres. Could he push on MDJ in the last 2 laps? He could do, maybe.
Maybe. It's a bit of a stretch from there, really. So I think
it is, but
I think MDJ has this. Well, he does have a cover because he's got that penalty, but he should finish in P5. MDJ, so not bad for him from starting P13, sorry, at the start of the qualifying session where he did struggle. But yeah, 1 lap 28-29. This race has absolutely flown by here in Division 2, full of interesting tyre talks as well. What was the better strategy? The answer is trying to make him go as long as possible in the first stint and survive it towards the Grand Prix, and that's exactly what some people have done as well. Some people went very long in the first stint, and it's helped him massively.
Somebody's gone really long in the second stint as well. If you look at Klaus's laps, he's done 23 laps on those wet tyres.
Still on the wets? Oh my goodness me. He is still on the wet compound tyres. Klaus was the man, I think, that won the Grand Prix last season, or I think it was Owen Mansour, because I think Klaus was in the wall due to Adams, so it was Mansour who won here last season. But it is Aston Martin who's going to take the victory, but it's not Owen Mansour. It is Velocio Jr. He replaced Mansour. And ever since he joined the Aston Martin camp, he wasn't happy in the. He wasn't happy in RB because his teammates was working with somebody else in a completely different team, as those two are close friends of Yusuf and Yusuf there. So it was the best thing for Veloci Jr. just to swap around and be more happier, because he wasn't really feeling that happy when he was winning the Racing Bulls. And they clashed a few times as well, did Veloci Jr. and Yusuf Shibek. Abu Dhabi springs to mind as well, when those two make heavy contact, and it cost them both during the Grand Prix, because they looked like an easy podium was on the cards for them. But unfortunately, it all went wrong at turn 5 when they collected each other. But for Veloci Jr., ever since the first lap of the Grand Prix, this man has never looked back since. Yes, the gap's closing down. The gap's actually 1.9. So, Neymar in P2 is closing, but it won't be enough. But Neymar and Veloci Jr., ever since they've been released away from Yusuf Shibek, they've controlled this race beautifully as well, kept the gaps, and it is going to be a double Aston Martin podium. Remember, Aston Martin had the lineup of Owen Mansell and Electro Dan, two fearsome competitive drivers indeed. Of course, we saw that Electro Dan picked up a win in the Hungarian Grand Prix. Mansell picked up a few podiums, one at the Imola Grand Prix as well. But they have two new drivers in the Aston Martin camp, and so far, these two drivers have absolutely delivered, have Veloci Jr. and President Lee. But look at that, the gap's going down dramatically. The gap's 1.1. I wonder if he's struggling a bit with his tyres, as Klausler gets a 10-second penalty for corner cutting. But maybe Veloci Jr.'s fuel consumption is a bit on the line here, because look at that, he is without a fuel indeed, so maybe lifting the coasting on the final lap to make sure he sees the checkered flag first and wins it. Here he is, Veloci Jr., who beautifully dominated this race, is about to make his way towards the finish line, and it's going to be the Aston Martin who takes the victory for his second win in a row. Fantastic driving for Veloci Jr., absolutely cooked as well. He never looked back ever since the lights went out. Neymar finished in P2 by half a second. Neymar was slowly but surely gaining on Veloci Jr. as President leads in P3. It's a double Aston Martin podium, as Burmeister is up to P4 just by 500ths of a second there. MDJ slots into P5. Yarlem in P6 ahead of both RB drivers, Yusuf Shibek and Yusuf Farouk in P7 and P8. Adams dropped down to P9 with that 3-second penalty, and Zedam finishes in 10th place. Outside the top 10 is Danny Boy, who goes for a spin in the wall, as Ruda, I think, is going to go for the fast lap of the Grand Prix in the Kick Sauber, despite having his own troubles in the first lap. He's kept going, hoping for a safety car, but all 50 drivers have finished this race. No one VSC, I think, and no safety cars. That VSC came out at the very beginning of the Grand Prix, didn't it, to neutralise things. As Ruda now, let's see, can he take the fast up to the Grand Prix? He will, with a 36.6, as he takes that bragging rights. As we've got Atlas Copo and Emils, the last two drivers then in 13th and 14th place to cross the line and complete this race then. All 50 drivers finish. Klausler was a lap down, but I think it was a good race overall.
What a race that was, mate. Absolutely amazing. Wow. Full wet race at Miami. I did not expect that, but yeah, that proved to be some very interesting strategies and some very well thought out strategies from people as well. So very impressive from all the drivers there.
Indeed it is then. Fantastic for both Aston Martin drivers. Just trying to get the guys in the podium interviews, and we can get going prematurely as well for the podium interviews. But yeah, what a fantastic race that was as well. It's all about managing your tyres in the first opening stint as well. Try not to take too much out of them and try and make them eke out longer to have the better tyre life towards the end of the Grand Prix. And we should get the top 3 then joining the podium interviews. But President Elite has done a mega job. The Swede will be happy. He's gone from P15 to P3, as hopefully we can hear a few words from him, because it'll be very nice to see what he has to say, as we're just waiting for President Elite to join the party and Veloci Jr., and hopefully we can get going once again. But so far looking good for Veloci Jr. in the last few races. He's shown some pretty amazing pace as well. As we got President Elite in the podium interviews then, and we'll start, as always, from P3 to P1. So, President Elite, mate, welcome to the podium. Your first ever time on the podium, and it must be an absolute relief, because every time you had a chance of a podium, something just always goes wrong. But funnily enough, you started at the back, and you got your first podium of the season as well. So talk us through your emotions, mate. What a fantastic drive to go on the Inters at the start of the Grand Prix. And when you saw that you were the only one that started on the intermediate cup out tire, did you think, oh, holy crap, I made a big mistake here? Or did you think that was the right tire still? Oh, by the way, President Leeds, can you make sure your voice is to share, please? Just go into party settings and put your voice to share, if you don't mind. Go into party chat, go into three dots, and go on voice chat settings.
Okay.
Thank you, mate. So just start from the beginning if you can.
Yeah, so yeah, what I said was that yeah, my entrance to Division 2 has been very poor. Always something happening in the races, safety cars, yeah, crashes, minor incidents, front wing damage. Yeah, but luckily today I took a risk and it paid off. And the second question, I don't remember the second question, sorry.
I don't remember either, but I'm going to make a new one on the spot. But President Leeds, yeah, like you said, you had a very not a good approach into your SFR career. But what's gone wrong, do you think, in the last few races? Because I've always said in the commentary box that you've got some mega pace, and we've seen it. There's no doubt that you've got some mega pace, but it's just about consistency. It's all about strategy as well, and making sure you make contact with people, and just yeah, what's been going on in the last few races?
Yeah, I think honestly it's a mix of things. I'm very aggressive, so sometimes I do get into incidents, which causes me to get penalties and damages. I think some strategy calls has been poor, some qualifyings. Yeah, and I think that's that, and also safety cars and yeah, unlucky stuff getting in my way. Yeah.
Yeah, that's been lucky for you as well. But yeah, it's nice to see you finally get a podium because you've had a lot of pace, like I said in the last few races. But just need to try, and it's just the safety car when the strategy goes wrong, etc. But Elite, how do you feel then for the Las Vegas? Before I go to Las Vegas, did you think there was any chance of a possible podium after pitting onto a Buenos Aires? Because you had a whole gaggle of cars right in front of you, so. Did you? And we knew you had the pace to catch up towards them, but did you think that the podium was on the cards because it could be a bit difficult to overtake those guys and all in a big train?
Yeah, when I was P1, we were discussing if I should try to go the whole way on them, but yeah, after 30% tire dig, the tire started to fall off, and yeah, I knew that the other drivers were gonna experience the same thing, so I was very confident that I would catch up basically. It was harder than I thought to pass the ones in front of me. So yeah, I knew that I could pass them, but yeah, in the end it was harder than what I thought.
And you must have been relieved when MDJ got that 3-second penalty as well, just in front of you, but he still did overtake on the track.
Yeah, I mean he had actually better pace than what I thought. It was I was closing much slower than I wanted to, and also Neymar had very good pace because we were aiming for a P1, P2.
Thank you very much, President Leeds. How do you feel for the last Vegas Grand Prix?
Yeah, I do have a quali ban there as well, so I hope I can produce the same result.
Well, mate, just in every single race, just try and be patient as much as you can. Plan your overtake protocol as well. So we know you got it.
You cut off there. I didn't really hear what you said.
Yeah, just try and keep it. Try and keep calm. Try and be patient as well. Plan your moves at the right time as well, and yeah, think about the strategy during the Grand Prix. You'll definitely be up there for a contender for the Grand Prix. That's for sure. Keep going, President Elite.
Yeah, thanks.
And Dan, any questions for him?
No, I just wanted to say a really well executed race, mate. Really impressive. You certainly put on a show for us there, mate. So yeah, well done on your podium tonight, mate. Really impressive.
Thanks, man.
Moving on to P2 then, it is Neymar who is back at the podium as well for the 4th time this season. Neymar, well, it looks like I think it slowly slipped away from you because Yusuf Shabek in the first stint was holding you up massively because he endured front wing damage after VSC ended, and he held you guys up for a very long time as well. So do you think that Yusuf Shabek was the reason why you almost lost today, because you were so close towards in the Grand Prix? You're only 5 tenths away from a junior as well.
Yeah, maybe, but that's hard to say in the start of the Grand Prix. And just to look back at, I think what mostly held me back was that I underfueled my car. You can maybe it held me back, maybe it didn't. But when at the end I needed to accept that and I needed to really lift and coast at the end. And that's why I think I gained like 2.5 seconds on the last lap, because until that point I really needed to lift and coast the last 9 laps or so. That was why I kept the gap where it was. So I think it's mostly up to that, but maybe it could also have been that. I don't know.
And when you were closing in on Velocio Jr., did you think that there was any chance of possibly a win on the line for you?
I didn't think about it until I was in like sector 2. I did push to the limit, yes, but I didn't think about getting that. I was just to see if I could get him and to be in close if he made a mistake. So I thought about maybe if he did make a mistake, but when we did go into the last corner, I thought about maybe he doesn't have that good tires, so maybe I could get it. But I'm not disappointed or anything at all. Veloci is extremely fast and very clever, so.
Yeah, you did a fantastic job as well today. Kept it nice and consistent, because I know in the last 3 races you have struggled. You had a DNF in Qatar as well, and it didn't quite go your way either at the Canadian Grand Prix and Japan. But your last podium was in Brazil 4 races ago, and now you've done it here again in Miami. So amazing job to get back at the podium today, Neymar. How tricky were the conditions for you? Did you enjoy the conditions out there today?
Yeah, after just 3 or 4 laps without line, I really need to adapt very quickly, and that's a very hard job. But after like 4 laps, I think I got it, and I could see me pulling away again from Yusuf when I got in front, and just when I came out on the inters, it was maybe the best tire for me. I think I was just clean to the track all the time. I got no problems, so I didn't see it as bad as maybe other people did. I think it really helped me today.
Oh, thank you very much, Neymar. And how do you feel? If I haven't asked you already, how do you feel for Las Vegas?
I have never league raced on that track, so I actually don't know.
Get practicing, mate. It's a weird one. It's a DRS.
I have raced on it. I just didn't league race.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because it's a DRS train from start to finish that track.
Yeah.
You got questions for him, Dan?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, just one from me really, and obviously you didn't capitalise on anything in the race really. You finished where you started really. Is there anything you would do different to maybe try and get the win, or is there anything you could have done that could have got you the win maybe?
I think looking back at it, I didn't even expect a P2 today, so I was quite happy when I saw me qualifying P2, and I know I had like Yusuf behind me, very fast driver indeed, Xenon also very fast driver. So I didn't expect like to win anything. I was just, if I could stay on the podium right now, I would be very happy. Also looking back at the last races, just finishing this race in a good position, that would be the goal. So I think I came over the line with like 0.06, so maybe if I had pushed the lap before I could have won, but yeah, I know Walter has it under control, so yeah, let's hear from him then.
Yeah.
Great stuff indeed then. Thank you very much, Neymar. Nice to see you on the podium once again, mate, and good luck for Las Vegas, and take care of yourself. We're moving on to first place then. It is Velocio Jr. Mate, you have won 2 races in a row then, and it looks like things start to come your way as well, because in the last few races you've been looking very, very strong so far as well. Maybe P2 could be in the cards for you in terms of the Drivers' Championship. How good is this feeling now? Does it really boost your confidence knowing that you have the pace now to try and compete with these guys?
Yeah, definitely. I'm very happy to see that the hard work is finally paying off. And I'm also very confident for the last 3 races to maybe get a couple more wins and to win the constructors, because after today I think we did a very good job.
Yeah, I think you did a very good job as well today. And I bet you must be absolutely nervous on that final lap, because the gap was like 4.1. It was stabilising for like 4.1 majority of the Grand Prix. Then all of a sudden, you're going down and down and down. So were you a bit nervous towards in the Grand Prix, or did you think you still had it covered?
Yeah, no, I was just driving extra slow because I had 2 warnings and I didn't want to risk anything. So It was deliberate to let him get inside of the 1 second. But like the first 20 laps, I didn't have any warning, and I think maybe he was like a bit faster than me, but the gap wasn't like coming very much down. But then in 2 laps times, I had 2 warnings, so then I had to back off a bit, and then the last lap, yeah, I just really was very slow to not get any warning. So I think I had everything under control.
You definitely did, mate. You definitely did as well, because the whole race you were leading as well. You never looked back since the lights went out. What was your thoughts and reactions initially when you first saw it was raining heading towards the race? Did you think, oh, for God's sake, why is it raining for? Or did you enjoy the conditions?
Actually, I think I was happy somehow that it was raining, because I know my teammate President is very fast in the rain, and we decided to split the strategy, and it definitely worked out. So actually, I think the rain really helped us. Only the start was very tricky because I missed my like grid box, so I had to start a couple of meters behind. But I think I defended well into turn 1, and that basically won me the race, I think.
Yeah, you did. Like, we saw you miss your box and got put a few meters back, unfortunately. But still, after that, the lights out, you still kept P1 headed down towards turn 1 as well. So, fantastic drive once again, Vlodship. And you really are looking like a very good... I know the championship is a bit too late, but there's this, like... Heading towards the new season, F125 game, obviously you don't know what it's going to be like because you don't know what to handle it unless you got the beta, of course. But does this improve your confidence going towards the next season as well? Try and get yourself up here more times.
Yeah, sure. I hope the game will be a bit better because I really don't like the handling, but somehow I now I'm used to it, so that's why the results are getting better each week. But yeah, I think my goal is definitely to win more races in F125.
Hope to see you do that as well. As Daniel, the questions for Vlodship?
Yeah, just is there any of the last tracks that we're coming up on that you're not looking forward to? Obviously Vegas is a weird one. We've got Silverstone, and of course the roller coaster that is Zandvoort. Is there anything you're not looking forward to, or is there anything you're particularly looking forward to?
I think Zandvoort should be really good. Silverstone should be also okay, but Vegas, I don't have much confidence in it. But let's see. I will do my work, and if I don't make mistakes and be quick, then I should be able to get a podium.
Good stuff, mate. Good stuff.
Well, that's it then. Also, you got anything else to say?
I also want to thank my friend from Division 4, because Dylan Vince, he was also in the party with us today, and he gave us a very useful information. So a big shout out to him.
Yeah, we did see Dylan in the chat as well, so that's why he was hovering around in the chat. But yeah, well done today, Dylan, for your excellent engineering skills. And yeah, that's it from us then. But before we go, Daniel, mate, thank you so much for stepping in again. It's been an absolute pleasure commentating with you. Always welcome, fun mate. To commentate with you.
Yeah, pleasure as always, mate. Really good, mate. Thank you.
That's it then for the Miami Grand Prix here in Division 2. And we go one more time in Miami for Division 1 tomorrow. Join us back at 7 o'clock. It's 7:30, sorry, because we've got an excellent championship battle spicing up between... I think we've got Laser, we've got Kanane, we've got Jensen, we've got Nodus, we've got a lot of people in that championship battle for first place. It's very tight in Division 1, so you don't want to miss Miami tomorrow. But in terms of Division 4, 3, 2, we move on to Las Vegas next week. Join us back on Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday for all the race action here as well. But we'll see you all later. Goodbye for now and take care of yourselves.